Well, after 13 years living in New York City, I'm leaving. And I must admit, I'm a lot sadder to be leaving than I thought I would be. Today, I just wanted to take a break from my usual content, just talk personally about why I decided to make this huge life change and move right across the country to Arizona. And the first reason is that I really wanted to try living in a place that I selected based on the kind of things I value, not that was mandated by my job or university. For the past 13 years, I've lived in New York City because of the bank I worked at, and before that, Boston for 2 years while I studied at MIT. Now, even though living in both these places was a valuable experience, they never really felt like me. If I could choose somewhere I'd want to live, it would be somewhere with a warmer climate, natural beauty, a bigger focus on fitness and health, easier access to the outdoors, more space, cheaper of course, and preferably a driving city, so I could easily do weekend getaways. Let me explain why that isn't New York. If you see videos of New York City, the weather is really cherry-picked to look pretty freaking amazing. In reality, New York City has bad weather most of the year. Winter is brutally cold and very dark. Seriously, in winter here, it starts getting dark around 3 p.m. Coming from Sydney, Australia, which has a warm climate with long days, I found that really depressing. And in winter, I'd often feel tired and around 6 p.m. find myself wanting to get into bed, ready to sleep. I found that mentally difficult, as I like to get a ton of stuff done. And getting tired that early, it made that hard to do. Plus the winters are long, minimum 4 months, but often at least 5. On the flip side, summer isn't great either. It's incredibly hot and humid. This is amplified by this city being a public transport-based one, where the majority of stations are not air-conditioned. Waiting for a train on one of those subway stations during summer, it's like being in a steam room. And if you think wandering around the streets in summer is a romantic experience, I'd think again. The trash bags on the street waiting to be collected just get baked with the hot sun and the garbage smells. Look, don't get me wrong, New York City absolutely has some glorious days, perfect weather, clear skies, but they are a bit rare. And when they occur, you feel this panic to make the most of them because they are so rare, and that's stressful. So when I was looking for a place that I wanted to live, I knew I wanted somewhere with a warm climate and preferably dry heat, not high humidity. LA, Las Vegas, and somewhere in Arizona, they all tick that box. Look, where I will be living in Arizona isn't perfect either, far from it. It is horribly hot 4 months of the year, but for the rest of the year, it's almost divine. Stunning blue skies, warm dry weather, and colourful sunsets over the mountains. Where I live in Arizona is at the base of a mountain range. There is nothing quite like driving home and seeing something so scenic in the background. And if I want to go hiking, it's just a 20-minute drive up the road, which is more me. By being in a warm climate with a lot of natural beauty, there is also more of a focus on fitness and health. I mean, come on, people are wearing swimsuits a lot of the year. Not that there aren't fit people in New York City, of course not, but it's just not as in your face as it is in Arizona. I go to the gym there and I walk in and I'm inspired. Whereas the gyms in New York City, they're often small and overcrowded. Plus they are crazy expensive. I mean, check out the price of an Equinox membership compared to my gym in Arizona, which by the way, is just as good and less crowded. Plus as a swimmer, in New York City, my team swims in a pool that is underground. In Arizona, the pool I train at is outdoors, so I can see the mountains and the sunset. I just found being in New York City, people tend to be excited about stuff that I'm not excited about. Like which hot new restaurant we are going to or where we're doing brunch. Look, I enjoy going to a nice restaurant and having a cocktail as much as the next person. But I'm not a foodie and I'm not interested in so much of my life being focused on eating. Spending countless hours searching for which hot new restaurant to go to and making restaurant bookings months out. It's exhausting. And of course, there are other amazing things about New York City, such as the arts, but those are things that I'm just not excited about right now. Alright, the next big reason I had to move was because of this YouTube channel. Being a YouTuber in New York City is an absolute pain. There is so much noise that interrupts my filming. Helicopters flying overhead, police sirens, construction, you name it. Right now there's banging in my roof. A 10-minute YouTube video takes me around 3 hours to record as I'm constantly interrupted by background noise. Even once I finish recording a video, many times I watch it over to find there is some other issue with the audio and I have to re-record the entire thing. Maybe my fridge started making noise in the background and it got picked up by the mic. That's the problem of making professional videos in an apartment. And on that note, in New York City apartment living, the air conditioning units are normally in the same room, which means I can't run them while I'm filming. So in summer, I can't have the air conditioning going during a shoot, which makes the filming experience uncomfortable. Same goes for heating in winter. Look, if I was making different types of videos, filming out and around the city like Casey Neistat, New York City would be additive because it provides such an interesting background. But those aren't the kind of videos I'm making. My videos are educational in nature, and I want to talk to you guys without distraction. And yes, I could rent a soundproof space in New York City, but that would add substantial cost to my business and would not be as efficient with my own time, as I'd have to travel to a different location to film. As a full-time YouTuber, I want to be an efficiency machine. Now, in Arizona, I'll be filming in a large house. It's on a very quiet street, and because I own the house, I've installed crazy sound treatment in the filming rooms. When I filmed in New York City, we'd have to spend a ton of time cleaning up the audio in post-production. In the house in Arizona, we can pretty much use the audio straight out of the mic. It's that clean. And the house has ducted air conditioning, and the main unit is way down the corridor from where I'm filming. This means I can have the air conditioning or heating running while I'm filming. Then, of course, New York City is incredibly expensive on so many dimensions. It's one of the highest tax locations on the planet. If you don't know, New York City just doesn't have a high state tax, it also has an additional city tax if you live there. Apartments are insanely expensive, and this has a knock-on effect that if I wanted to hire talented people to help me out, they are expensive. This wasn't an issue when I was working full-time as a managing director at a Wall Street bank, of course not. But when starting my business from scratch, I want to keep my expenses low. For less than renting my 2-bedroom apartment in New York City, I can pay off a large house with a pool and a car in Arizona. And by the way, moving somewhere larger was important to me. I intend to grow this business, and that means hiring staff. In this apartment I've been renting in New York City, I could have a maximum of 1 person working alongside me. At my house in Arizona, there is enough space to easily have 2, if not 3 people assisting me. And then there is the commuting. In New York City, going anywhere tends to take 30 minutes to an hour. Public transport is often delayed, particularly on weekends. It's rare that it goes exactly where you're going. And if you drive, be prepared to be stuck in tons of traffic. In 2 years of going back and forwards to Arizona, I've hit serious traffic once, I think. And even if there is a little traffic, it's so much less than in New York City. There are just these really big fast highways all around the city. Instead of taking 30 to 60 minutes to get somewhere like in New York, it takes me no more than 20 minutes to get anywhere. As you can see, I was definitely ready to leave New York City and try living in Arizona, but I must admit, as I start to sell my stuff and pack down the apartment, I feel sad. I had amazing moments in this city, I really did. Those days where the weather is lovely, nothing beats walking along the water with the backdrop of Manhattan beside you, or sitting in a tree-lined street having a coffee, or enjoying a cocktail on a rooftop bar. At the end of the day, I think I was so focused on how much I didn't like New York City that I didn't appreciate all the things I did like about it, and some of the good times I was actually having here. It's one of those moments where I wish I knew I was having the good times while I was actually having them. Well, that's all for today, folks. I'm off on a new adventure, living full-time in Arizona. Perhaps I'll be back in New York City one day. Perhaps I'll hate Arizona. But whatever the future holds, I'm going to be open-minded and make the most of it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know by smashing the like button and getting subscribed. Not only does it show your appreciation for the insane amount of effort that's spent making these videos, but as I always say, it makes my mother very proud. Till next time, go do something awesome with your day, and I will catch you later.